So that is the reason I'm saying it. This is a good example. Yeah, exactly.
That's
exactly.
the point you were making.
So the example of this gentleman here, Greg, yes, it's like a person who's using a metal detector in order for him to identify plastic. He's using the wrong tool. He's using the tool of science which has limited scope for something that is metaphysical in nature.
I think he was
like your consciousness.
Fair point. That's a very fair point.
I think he was actually wrong about Einstein too, because I read once Einstein was asked about whether the universe was chaotic, and he answered, "God doesn't make mistakes." And when you've got, and I read the Stephen Hawking book, A Brief History of Time, and it's a great book, and in that they do talk about God, scientists, because when they're accepting there was a starting point of creation, they're accepting a creator, so they're accepting God.
But the definition of a creator varies from.
Well, absolutely. I mean, God's just a word. It could be.
So his idea of God was not
just a loaded word.
He was making the assertion that Einstein did not believe in a personal God, but a pantheistic God.
Yeah.
So in other words, he's like
creator.
He's a theist. He's not an atheist. He's still a theist. If you believe in a pantheistic God, you're a theist. You're not an atheist.
God's just a word. I mean, I could replace the word God.
Yeah, there's different concepts of God. You're right.
Source energy, the universe.
Yeah.
So people get so hung up on the word God, but when you're accepting that, the Big Bang Theory, a starting point of creation, you are accepting a creator. The only opposing view would be if time and space always was.
Yeah,
there was no starting point. Absolutely, but they don't believe that science. Science have accepted this idea of the Big Bang Theory, so they are accepting a creator of sorts.
And when the reason he didn't bring the Big Bang Theory is that because we know that the Big Bang
recorded anymore, is it? Or?
That's fine, yeah.
Oh, okay.
As long as you guys are okay with that.
Yeah.
So the Big Bang Theory is something which is the most accepted model of the origin of the universe. Okay. The reason he actually didn't want to bring that up is because you know that it has a start, and obviously anything that is anything that is limited in scope, like the universe, it has an end as well. Because so what he did was he actually did this. He actually brought in a model which is the least accepted among the scientists, which is called the cyclic universe. That means it expands and collapses, for which there is no evidence. So there is no evidence that once a universe collapses, it starts a cycle again. There's no evidence. So this is just something which is it's more like a guess, at best. Yes, not even a postulation with evidence, because when you postulate the theory, you need to substantiate it. The reason many people actually bring this in is because they know that God is eternal, so they have to bring in something eternal to counter it. And what they do, they bring in the least, the least
skeptical
accepted model for the origin of universe, which is this cyclic universe. So anyone who has read about the cyclic universe, they would know that what entropy is something. Because of entropy, the cycles become bigger and bigger. Yes. What that means is that at one point, these cycles were much smaller as you go back in time. It goes to a point where it says there was a beginning of the cycle. That means it's not eternal. So even from that perspective, yes, if he had done his homework, he would know that. He didn't even know the meaning of entropy. When I asked him the first time, he said heat or something like that.
Was he a scientist?
He says he's into physics. Right. But these are all things which you learn in basic physics.
It's a hobby, a pastime?
Whatever it is. He said he was better than Newton.
That's what he said?
Yeah, that's what he said. So this is ego. When your ego plays in, then it clouds your judgment. And this is what happens. Unfortunately, when you actually start saying things like, I'm a better scientist, or I know more than Newton. No, he wasn't. He was pretty serious about it. What he was
it was just tongue in cheek. It was a bit
No, he wasn't. He was pretty serious about it, because what he was saying is that since Newton died, we have had many discoveries, so we know a lot more things than Newton. Obviously you would, but no one would compare Newton not being a scientist or not being a great scientist and saying I'm better than Newton. I mean, this is just ego, if you ask me.
No, so from his perspective, he might be though.
He might be what?
Like from his perspective, he might be better.
But from his perspective, he could be like 10 feet tall. You know, that doesn't make it true.
Yeah, but that's what we consider reality, because reality is in a way subjective, because
reality is not subjective. Who told you that?
In a way, it is.
What do you mean in a way?
I will explain to you how it is.
Are you for real?
But there is a possibility that we could be in a simulation. But is it more probable? Probably not, because there's not really much evidence to say
Yeah,
that
but
there is.
where is what do you mean not much evidence? There is zero evidence that you could just be a figment of my imagination.
There's a possibility. It's a
No, it's not a possibility. How would you say, on what basis would you say there's a possibility?
Well, wouldn't you agree that all things are equally possible?
No. No, there are certain things which are observable facts. You cannot deny
Maybe
that.
in,
Otherwise,
do you believe in other dimensions? Do you believe in other dimensions?
Do you
or not?
believe that the Earth could be flat?
Do you believe in other dimensions?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so then all the possibilities must be equally equal.
Not all the possible. What do you mean all possible?
I mean,
Do you think it's
Why-
possible for the Earth to be flat?
how is that relevant?
You said everything is possible.
Maybe in some dimensions.
So
that
you
my
could be
point
a
is-
flat earther. I'm speaking to.
Well, if,
See what I mean?
If we're talking about reality,
No, you need to look. You need to accept one thing.
Define
There are things which are real, and there are things which are unreal. Okay.
But how do you define that?
How do you
Well,
define real?
it's very simple. I mean, if you do not, then what is the point of us even talking if things are unreal?
Well, that's the whole
But
point.
you
What is
wouldn't
real? That's the
know.
whole
You wouldn't
point.
know
What is
though.
real?
Would you know if?
Then you're far. If you guys don't even know your existence, then you are far removed from your reality of this world.
Define
you
real.
consider
What do you think is real?
existence?
Well, anything which you can perceive as
Okay.
being factual. For example,
So,
if
can
I were to ask
Can
you,
I ask you a question? Do you know of the experiment with the hand? Do you know that experiment?
Yeah.
Where they pull a
Yeah.
fake hand. Right. What you're perceiving
Is a perception.
Is a touch, right? But that's not even a real hand. So how is that real? How do you feel the sensation? How is that real?
how do you feel the sensation?
Yeah, if it's
Like
not
I said,
real.
it's because-
And then when you hit it with a
Yeah.
hammer, they take their hand out.
Yeah, it's
Right,
because-
they feel the pain.
No,
Is
they
it real
don't
pain?
feel the pain.
Is that real or
No,
not?
they don't feel the pain.
Why do they-
What they do is the reason is because of because they're frightened of being hurt.
If something frightened of something unreal, so it doesn't.
Let me
Define
let me
real.
let me
How
let
do
me
you
tell you what.
define real?
If you have been indoctrinated to such an extent where you fear certain things. For example, many people fear the darkness.
Yes.
Yes, just because you switch off the light, they feel afraid. Why? Because this is the way they have been indoctrinated to such an extent.
So it's an illusion.
So are you?
No, it's not an illusion. In their mind, the fear is real.
Exactly, that's the whole
Okay,
point.
wait a
It's
minute.
not real.
No, it's real. In their mind,
The fear
they
is real.
think that the fear is real. But the reality,
It's an illusion,
is
it's a
the-
concept. It's
exactly.
it's a
The illusion,
construct.
the illusion of the concept that they've created in the mind. Remember, they've created this.
So it's not
It's
real,
not real.
is it?
They've
So
created
couldn't
this.
you have created this?
So how would you define
No.
real then?
You could
So
not
what is
have.
real?
No. If you guys do not, if you don't know how to differentiate between reality and something which is an illusion, then you do not even exist.
Well, give us the definition of trust, of truth. Truth and reality is truth, right?
Well,
So what would be a
reality is
truth?
truth. Whether you believe it or not, the reality will exist. So, for example, there are many flat. Look. There are many people who believe that the Earth is flat. Yes, but the reality is different. Yes, we know that. Unless you guys are flat earthers here. So, even though they say this is a fact, by the way, they do say it's a fact, isn't it? Those flat earthers.
Yeah.
They say yes, the Earth is flat, but is that real?
But see, I think
So just because they believe something is a fact doesn't make it
you're
real.
getting too caught on the technicality. You can't.
No, I'm not. I'm giving you demonstrate.
No, I'm with you.
evidence.
But I just want you to branch out, open your brain a little bit, and just open the possibility that maybe just have a conversation.
My friend, if you branch out to where you don't know the difference between reality and unreal, then that is something that is your prerogative, not mine.
Oh no, I'm just. But it's an invitation. It's simply an invitation.
If you want to have that, I know you invited me, but I reject your invitation.
That's all right.
That because I'm in touch with my reality. If you're not,
Fair
that's a
enough.
different thing.
Fair enough.
Maybe you should go see a doctor.
Maybe.
No, honestly, we have to, because
Are
you
you
see,
real? I wouldn't know.
if human beings do not understand the reality and something which is just an illusion, then you deny everything. You wouldn't be accepting anything. You would be a super skeptical individual who would never have peace of mind.
But there's got to be.
Because you think everything is unreal. Is my mom real? Is my dad real? Are my children real? Is my family real? You know, like, where does it end?
There's got to be a definition.
That's what I
I would
was talking about,
define
reality.
as
Yeah,
truth.
but-
Was that?
And how would you define
Yeah,
truth?
I mean, no.
There's got to be a definition.
yeah,
So I would
exactly.
define reality as truth. And how
No, but whose reality?
Who?
Like I said, the flat earth's reality is different to yours and mine.
Exactly,
But it's not true.
Yes, but that doesn't mean it's the truth.
But it's not truth.
Can I ask
To
you a
whom?
question? Do we all?
Reality and
Wait.
Okay.
Just one sec, just one sec.
Reality and truth.
Just one
Listen,
sec. To whom is not the truth? To us or to them?
Answer me this. Do we all experience different realities? Do we all experience different realities?
Do we all experience
Different
the
realities.
similarities in the reality?
No. Answer my question with a yes or no.
Not,
Do we?
not in everything. Not in everything.
Okay.
There are certain things, for example, if I asked you, are you a human?
But we're all playing a different
What?
movie.
You don't know you are human or not? Are you, could you be a monkey?
So it's subjective.
You could.
Who knows?
You could be.
All the possibilities are
Then
endless.
you don't know what's a monkey. If you don't know the difference between a monkey and a human, then you got a lot. You need a lot of help, my brother.
Well, that's a good point, actually.
What's
So
that?
what is objective truth?
No, but from objective truth.
Okay, so I'll give you an example. I'll demonstrate an objective truth to you. By the way, you asked a question, then our realities are different. Very good. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll give you an example. Imagine you go to a room where the temperature is a bit cold for you. You enter the same room, but for you it's perfectly room temperature. It's not cold, not too warm, not too hot. It's just perfect for you. You both enter the same room. Now, how do I ascertain what the temperature of the room is? Any guesses?
Thermometer.
Thank you. That is the objective truth. Because the thermometer reading, regardless of what you feel or what you feel, will give me an objective. Wait.
Okay, then
Will
what's
give me the
your-
objective
what-
truth and the
Okay,
exact measure of the
I have
temperature of the room.
What is your
Does that
thermometer?
answer your question?
What is the thermometer that
Depending
you
on how
use
it's calibrated.
to measure this? What is the thermometer?
Don't try
that
to.
you-
Over the.
What is the
Over-
thermometer that
sorry?
you? What is the thermometer that you use to measure this? What gives you the objective?
Oh, you mean measure what? To measure the reality?
Well, let me put it this way.
Oh my God. Seriously?
Let me put this to you. So
Then answer my questions
So
because
there's three of us.
you never answer good questions because you know it's
You
gonna
know,
humble you.
but you think your question is good.
Well, whether it's good or not, how about
I've already answered your question, did you not? Look, my reality, the reason, you know that thermometer, did you believe in the measurement of the thermometer?
Yes,
You
I
did.
do.
Why is that?
But then I asked
No,
you a
wait.
question.
Why is that? Why did you believe that thermometer reading?
because
that's
one
an-
dimensional
I didn't ask you, I'm asking him.
Oh, you're so arrogant.
Yes, I am.
No, not really arrogant.
Okay, listen.
your answer.
I actually want to get rid of you.
But it's not going to work.
What's the answer?
Yeah. So why did you believe the thermometer reading?
Unidirectional.
It's objective.
Because?
It's objective.
Why is it objective?
You tell me.
doesn't have any
Well, you said it's objective, so tell me why it's objective.
Because you know what objective means, right?
Yeah, well, what
I
is
don't
it?
have to explain why it's objective.
No,
You know the
why?
definition.
Yeah, what is the objective definition in this case?
The objective definition of this case is that you measure the heat with the thermometer.
No, but why is it objective?
because you can prove its existence.
You know why? Because it doesn't matter where you take that evidence,
independent,
it is something that everyone will accept because there is no bias here in terms of
It's
your
independent
of
from
your
each
subjective understanding of the temperature of the room or your. So it doesn't matter where you take it. That same, what do you say? That same instrument is going to be the evidence for anyone and everyone. Doesn't matter who it is. Okay. Now that's the reason it's objective. Now without you being conscious of your environment, will you be able to take that reading?
Mate, I think you're fumbling yourself.
No, I'm
very
not.
sorry.
I'm not. Answer the question.
I need to understand the question. It needs to make sense.
You don't answer
What? Your consciousnness?
He has other
Which part doesn't make sense?
I'm
That you being conscious to be reading?
Showtime.
Reading?
if you would just
That's the reason you're here.
That's why I'm standing behind you.
Yeah, that's where you belong. Okay, carry on.
Clown. When are you going to grow up? I thought you might have grown up by now.
So here's a question.
But why are you standing next to a clown then?
Because I enjoy entertainment. Same reason I go to
Good, so you are in a circus.
beat that one. At the moment.
Right, I'm the ringmaster,
To
so
my
you
left,
shut up.
Yes, to my left. Yeah.
I'm the ringmaster, you shut up. Okay, cool, so
your
go on.
So it's a
Okay,
question.
Yeah, go on.
It's a question. So there's five of us stood here now having a
Yeah.
conversation. But you know, we're all on the same kind of space-time continuum, right? The same kind of dimension. But we're all playing a completely different movie in our heads. You know, your belief is different to my belief. So where's the objective truth there? Who decides what the
Where's the
objective
thermometer?
truth is?
That
Where
is,
is it?
look, when you don't even, when you are unsure about your reality, about whether you live in a real world, whether you yourself are real, then I think you're far lost and cut off from the
But
reality.
you never answered my question. Where is the certainty?
Sorry,
I'm sorry.
can I just put,
Go ahead.
Let me put this.
You were pretty certain about the reading of the instrument, which is
No,
called the
actually,
thermometer,
what-
without you being
What I was-
real about your own self.
What I
Let
was
me put-
certain of
let me
is
put one
the
other way.
uncertainty. I'm certain of the
Are
uncertainty.
you certain you exist?
Do I exist? Do you exist?
See what I
Are we
mean?
here?
So,
This guy's super skeptical.
absolutely. So
I think he needs help.
So I could say that
I
I could say
We all
don't
need
don't
help,
believe a
don't
word
we?
I say.
Yeah, speak for yourself.
I'm coming
Don't
from.
need any help.
Oh, yeah.
Alright.
I
See,
could
that's
say,
the first
Not,
problem.
not in identifying
And not
between
in
the
anything.
reality
In anything.
and
In anything.
unreal.
Not admitting the problem is the first
So I
problem.
could say.
So you admit you don't even know you exist.
No, but there is a difference between a
What happened to that
collective
grin?
reality and an individual reality.
Look at that grin.
So I could.
No, honestly, a person
Well, I could say-
needs help seriously if they cannot differentiate
say
between
this.
the real world and something which is imaginary.
Well, let me say this.
Because that is called psychotic
Well,
problems.
let me say this. I can say, don't
Yeah.
believe a
Don't
word
let
I
me
say
stab you.
because I'm coming from my truth. I'm not representing
From his
myself as
individual
telling the truth, but my truth. And you would have your truth. And who's to say one is right and one is wrong? We're all coming from our truth and our perspective.
What are you talking about? Which because
It's a
this.
conversation, not an argument.
Well,
It's a
hold on.
conversation.
By the way, I'm talking to him. Stop interrupting.
I think I'm saying.
Okay, go on.
The arrogance of the man.
My question is to him, not to you. So which reality are you talking about?
I think I'm saying that.
Which reality are you talking
so
about?
well, you don't
Because
see
that
this
gets you
when they put it
views.
out.
I think I'm saying that.
What?
It can only be subjective truth. Colin.
Why?
We're all
Why is
living
truth
our own
subjective?
truths.
I just gave you the example.
Objective truth. Who's right?
I gave you the
What is the
example.
objective truth? What is
You
the
have your
objective
truth.
truth?
I think you're just here to joke.
Varies
Who's
from
right?
person to
No, I'm
person.
serious.
You know, initially I thought you were someone who was someone who is
Really painful.
worth talking to, but now I've realized that you're not even aware that you exist or not.
So
Go find that out
I think
first.
what I'm saying is it's
Yeah.
subjective truth only.
very
Sure.
No.
Well, who decides on
Very
objective
powerful.
truth?
Do you remember that I gave you when you asked me about the subjective?
Well, who's right?
How do you
Am I right
differentiate
or you
between
right?
objective
He
truth
is, of course,
and
on
subjective
everything.
truth? I gave you the example of the thermometer. Do you believe that is subjective truth?
Well, it's objective. If it's independent.
No. Is it an objective truth? The reading
Well,
of the
in that-
thermometer.
In that case, I'd have to say yes. But what's the objective?
There you go. That's
truth
your answer
in
then.
our beliefs and our perspective.
Okay, now you're talking about the beliefs. See, now
Who's right
now
and
this
wrong?
is a different
Yeah, that's
a
the
different
question.
topic.
Exactly.
So there are things you will agree which are objective truths out there which we all recognize. For example, the temperature reading from a thermometer. Okay, this is an objective
So
truth.
the answer is subjective.
No.
Subjective truth.
Not every
There's no
truth is
objective
subjective.
truth. There's
Okay,
no objective truth.
there are truths
You're
which
not
are which
right and I'm
which
not
are
wrong. You're
objective.
not wrong.
For example, if I ask you about the shape of the Earth, you're going to tell me it's flat.
You really like this.
What if I
flat earth
believe
conversation.
that?
Yeah. Would you say it's flat?
Well, I mean, my
So
belief
these
is
are
different to your
so
belief,
these are
right?
things
So
which
who's
we
right
all
and wrong?
accept because sometimes what you see, yes, it's not. It's, is
I
that?
want it over there.
No, we're ignoring him anyway. Don't worry.
We say we. Is that the royal we?
It is, yeah.
right.
So what I'm saying,
Opposed to the royal shit.
well, that will be you, which I'm ignoring. Thank you. So what I'm saying here is
I'm
that.
ignoring it that
By the way,
Keep-
do you believe that objective truth or you don't?
Well, I guess there must be an objective.
No,
truth.
don't guess.
I-
Tell me,
I
do you
see-
believe or not?
I see subjective truth everywhere.
Do you not see objective truth at all?
Well, I'll tell you what I did see the other week. I was watching Fox News, right? And it's
Of all the news in the world.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know why I did, but I did.
Okay, go on.
But it struck me that there's no difference between Fox News and CNN. They're exactly the same. They're just kind of commentating on the world through their perspectives.
Yeah.
But who's right and who's wrong? CNN have got no right to say Fox are wrong, and Fox have got no right to say CNN are wrong. But they're both on completely opposing.
Yeah, but news can be right or wrong. We don't deny
It's
that.
going through their filter. It's going through their perspective. They're commentating on the world as they see it. But who's right and who's wrong?
No, but
Completely subjective.
But
surely.
there are instances
Everything has
where,
to go through a filter,
for
doesn't
example, if they are reporting on, say, an earthquake in Japan, both of them reporting, you cannot say who is wrong or who is right if they have video evidence for you.
Well, they come through their filter. They come through their filter. They're
Whatever it is, if there,
their perspective.
if you have multiple reports of an earthquake happening in Japan,
shook the
yes,
earth and we all died. Another report will say that plate tectonics stuck and
exactly.
judged.
it's not a circus. We are talking about an earthquake.
I don't think
Okay.
you can have a neutral kind of event because it's always got to go through the filter of whoever's seeing.
No, but then where do you stop?
Let me finish.
Yeah, where do you draw the line about reality and unreal?
Hold on, let me finish that because we put energy and meaning into stuff, so we're really experiencing ourselves, aren't we? Because everything has energy that we put into it. We make it something. What we make it is what it becomes. It's kind of impossible.
What do you mean
to
energy?
experience
What do you mean you
something
put
neutral.
energy? I don't understand.
Well, it's kind of everything you see. You put some energy and meaning into it. You make it something. It's impossible to see anything because you're telling stories about everything that happens to you, aren't you? You look back and
Are you saying that you do not believe anything that you see?
I'm not saying I don't believe things that I see, but I
What do you mean you're putting energy? I don't understand what you mean
I
by that.
create a story. We all create.
No, we are not
stories
talking about
things.
we are not talking about arbitrary random things. I'm saying if you see something, for example, do you have children?
No.
Do you have parents?
Parents.
Yeah.
I think I do have parents.
I mean, are they alive? That's what I meant.
Yes.
Yeah. So if do you believe they're your parents?
from his
This has
experience,
gone
he could
away
say,
from
yeah.
the point we were just making.
No, it is because I'm telling you about objective
Seems like a
truths.
different
Wait.
conversation.
I'm telling you about objective truths. No one here will deny that they came from.
What's that?
Yeah, they came from a male and a female.
Yeah.
No one will deny that. Okay. So what I'm saying is that there are certain truths which are objective. No one can deny. But if you're going to question, wait. If you're going to question each and everything that you see as being subjective.
How do you learn if you don't ask
let me-
questions?
you ask me-
How do we learn if
you
you don't
ask-
Did I
ask
tell you not to ask questions? But I'm
asked
asking
me
you.
about-
What I'm saying is, do
Is that
not.
not the question?
No. When did I say don't question anything?
Believe it all. That's what you just said.
Don't be silly. I didn't say that.
You just asked.
I said do not ask silly
I wish you
questions.
the
You just
best of
asked,
luck.
you just
Yeah.
asked me about energy. You just asked me.
Don't ask silly questions that you exist or not.
You just asked me about energy and meaning, right? Let me
Next
explain.
instruction.
Let me explain what I mean by that. So
Bend down, Junior.
anything that
Want me
happens
on my
to
knees?
us.
What would you like me to do next?
Have you upset
Let's get down on your knees and see how you behave.
Why do you want me on my? Why are you so many Muslims?
Okay.
That's with gays.
What is it?
You want me on my knees, you filthy pig.
Oh, is that the only way you perceived? Wow.
Why else would
Your
I be
brain
on
is
my knees?
perverted.
Why would I be
So
on my
every time,
knees in front of you?
anytime a
Why
person
would
gets
you
on his
want me on
knees,
my knees?
it has to involve
Why?
sex.
What would it involve?
Because he's
with
a
you?
pervert.
What would it involve?
Just
with
prove
you?
that you're a
What
pervert.
would it involve with you?
I don't know, sitting down on your knees.
Sitting. You don't
You're an idiot. If you think the only person who gets on his knees is for sex, what an idiot. Okay, so now back. You know that's why we don't talk to
You're really
him.
an
Because he's
intellectual
pervert.
powerhouse,
Because
aren't
he's a
you?
pervert.
You're an intellectual powerhouse.
You're just a pervert.
You're really an
Doesn't matter intellectual
intellectual
or not. So anyway,
That's
by the way,
why I
look,
need to learn
I think
from
we have
intellectual
exhausted
power.
the discussion here.
Well, you asked that
Five
question.
microphones.
You asked
He's
that
just jealous he doesn't have any.
Size of an intellectual
No one records
powerhouse.
him, you know, in the park.
5 microphones.
You know why no one records him? Because
Hold
he's
on,
always been a pervert.
Just hold on. You
Well,
asked
you've
that
been
question about
watching, have
energy
you?
and meaning, right?
Through the
What
curtains.
what I meant by that is, you know, we think back about experiences and events, things that happen to us, and we can't help but tell ourselves a story about it. We can't see it neutrally.
Basic
There's a story
neuro-linguistic
about it.
programming. I recommend you read.
Why don't you
might
shut up?
have-
Somebody's
read
talking
a bit
here.
of
That's what I mean
NLP.
about
You will
energy.
learn
Meaning
about
we put
social
energy
science.
in.
Let's carry on somewhere else. Because we got an idiot
You
here,
have to move
and I don't want to.
cameras. Is that really worth it? No, but NLP. Just read a bit of basic NLP.
Get on your
You
knees.
will learn a lot.
Get on your knees. Let's ignore that idiot and we'll move down here. Assalamu alaikum, bro. You're right. Sorry, we didn't even. Inshallah.
You're busy at work. NLP.
Are you following me like a puppy?
Yes.